Okay guys, welcome back. This is a basic scene file. Before we get started, just make sure your viewport render is on high quality and all your objects have their own materials assigned. And make sure your history is deleted, so edit, delete all by type history, and that your objects have been named. So just go through and give your components their own independent shaders. We're just going to work with blend shaders today, so go right click, go assign favorite material, blend, and make sure you title those in the channel box. Sorry, in the attribute editor. So with that object selected, going to the attribute editor, going to my blend shader, and I'm going to call that wall 1 MAT for material. Okay, with all my objects named and my viewport render in high quality, I'm going to show you how to get an image out of Maya. So go up to the top where your drop down menu is, go across to this little icon here. This is your render settings dialog box. Open it and first set the drop down menu to mental ray. Secondly, hit the presets tab and load a production preset. In the common tab, scroll down and just set your image size to 720 by 480. This is a 16:9 aspect ratio. Small image size. When we're finished and we're going to start rendering out production images, we'll start to look at 720, 1280 by 720. Alright. So you can go ahead and close the render settings window. And I've got these two little icons up here. The first one opens the render window. The second one opens the render window and renders the current frame. Now this is just going to render from whatever camera you're looking through. So make sure you've got the perspective camera active in your viewport. You can also go and create a new camera. So just go create cameras, create camera, and to look through it, go back to the panels in the viewport menu, go to your perspective panel and select your created camera. Guys, if you find yourself doing things over and over and digging through the menus constantly for the same tool, create a shelf shortcut for it. So you notice if your shelf's displayed, you'll have these little tabs with these shelf menus. Go over to the last one, which is custom. You can create your own buttons. So I'm going to create a shelf button for assign new material. Now we do that with a right click. There is a menu option. So if you set the menu set drop down to rendering, go lighting and shading, there's your assign new material and there's your assign favorite material. So holding Command and Shift or Control and Shift on a PC, make the selection and you'll see a new button pop up. So now I can assign a new material with one click on the shelf. Okay, sorry for going off track there. We're talking about this second icon here, which is open the render window and render the current frame. So before you render a frame, in your viewport menu, go to the view menu, go to camera settings and click this resolution gate button. This will actually show you your renderable area. And if you have created a new camera, make sure that's selected and then click render current frame. So here's the rendered image with the basic blend materials assigned to everything. Once you have an image, you actually have to save it. So go File, Save Image, and let's stick to using bitmaps for the moment. Give it a title, a file path, and click Save. Okay guys, let's do some texturing. Now the first thing we're going to do is drop an image into the color channel of this floor here. So make sure you've got your object selected. Go to your attribute editor, go to your color channel and click the make new connection checkerboard. and you'll get a create render node window, and we want to drop a file into the color channel. So we're going to click on file, and the file path dialog box will pop up in the attribute editor. So click the little yellow file icon and navigate to your file. So I'm going to use that concrete color.tiff and click open. And as long as you've got textures displayed in the viewport, you'll be able to see your new texture. So while I'm there, I'm just going to create a bump map as well. So with the object selected, go to bump mapping, click the checkerboard. I want a file, and I'm going to drop the file into the bump value. There's already a file connection automatically created, so I'm going to have to click the arrow instead of the checkerboard. Then the file, and there's my bump. Have a look at the other video that I've uploaded today. It might clear up some questions you might have about outputting files in Photoshop. Okay, so this looks really flat, and when we rendered it, everything was really shiny. So let's first of all fix that. We'll drop that reflectivity on the floor all the way down, and the wall, and we'll leave the bars, the reflectivity up. So every time you make changes, do a test render. Alright. So the first thing I want to talk about is texture placement. Now at the moment, we created this cube and scaled it down, turned it into a floor and assigned an image to it. Now that image might not be sitting where you want it to. And the way we make edits to the position of an image on an object is by editing its UVs. UVs are 2D coordinates on a 3D object that dictate where an image sits. Now you can edit them individually just like polygons. For the moment, we're just going to look at editing them via projection manipulators. So with the object selected, in the polygons menu set, go to create UVs and try these different types of mapping tools. For illustration purposes, I'm going to planar map this floor. So I've just hit planar map and the texture's just completely messed up.